And I was like, yes, because you removed the secret ingredient, which was you. Like one client in my brain in particular right now was doing, $250,000, $300,000 a month. And then all of a sudden it dipped down.
On this episode of the show, Matt Rouse talks to George Bryant. They are trying to let you know if automation remove humanness. Now it's time for the show. Let's go.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Digital Marketing Masters. I'm your host, Matt Rouse, and today I've got George Bryant from the Mind of George. George, you're the only person I know who's done more than 7,000 podcasts, so I figured we should probably have a chat.
I love it, man. It's actually crazy. It's not, I tell everybody, like, it shouldn't be a badge of honor, and I didn't even know this till like a couple of months ago, but I have a client who's an AI engineer. And he's like, what's your biggest struggle with your podcast? And I was like, truthfully, I don't remember what I've talked about on my own show, like 700 episodes. And he's like, I'll build a tool for you, but I'll go one step further and I'll find every show you've ever been on. And he didn't mention it to me for like a month. And then we get on a call and he's like, I'm so mad at you. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, do you know how many podcasts you've been on? And I was like, no. And he's like, over 7,000. It took me a month to find them all with all these AI tools. And I was like, really? Holy moly. And so, yeah, it's kind of ironic that I know now, but yeah, it's hilarious.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, I find it crazy just to think about, we're on episode 275 here. That's some of my episodes were, back in the day, I used to go pretty long on some of them, like even up to a couple hours. So I've got more than 300 hours of podcasts.
Yeah.
Right. And that I can't imagine how long it would take somebody to actually, if they wanted to listen to them all.
No way.
And yeah, I mean, it's just crazy how many people you talk to. So let me tell you this, 7,000 podcasts. I don't want to put you on the spot, but I'm totally going to put you on the spot. What was your favorite podcast that you were on? Besides mine, obviously.
Yeah. I'll just say yours. We're at the beginning, so you're already winning. So I'm like yours right now, the current one. I have a friend who had me on his podcast, and it's called the Happiness Podcast, and the happiness of the happy life. And he's a marketer, but the whole premise of his podcast is to basically talk about what most people would consider wounds in your life and how they turned into like triumphs or character builders. And we ended up doing 3 episodes and they were like 2.5 hours each, but it was the first time somebody's ever like sat with me besides a therapist that I had to pay a lot of money for to be like, how did this all start? Like, how did you go from homeless through addiction and bullying to the Marine Corps, to war, to your own drug addictions? Like, and it wasn't like a summary. He just kept diving in to like every single detail. And so we ended up doing like 3 of them, and I loved it. It was cathartic, but I also love humans understanding that we're so similar. It blows our minds. Like our wrapping paper might be different, right? The ways that we got here are so different, but yet we can all relate on the same things. And if we're here and we can relate as humans, then we can help each other and kind of thrive. And so like, I love podcasts that like get to the meat of the person, right? Like, strategies and tactics are a dime a dozen, right? They're going to change all the time, but like who you are as a person, how you view the world. And so that was probably one of my favorite ones. And I've been on big ones and things too. I also have like, I won't drop names, but like unfavorite podcasts. I'm like, oh, it'll be a dream to go on this podcast. And I was like, well, that was like a non-starter. Okay, cool. Right. Like I don't do the media trained stuff pretty well. I just want to be authentic. So yeah, that would probably be my favorite one, the Happiness Podcast.
Yeah, I'm really bad at trying to repeat the same thing on all the different shows. I'm like, I just want to chat with people.
100%. I've tried and I'm like, no way. It like makes my stomach churn. I'm like, I can't do this. Like I've tried to have notes and I'm like, those are going in the trash. Like, all right, cool. Like, how's your day? What are we going to talk about? Where are we going to go? Right. Like, I just want to have a cup of coffee with people.
This is probably why I get like way less speaking appointments and gigs and stuff than I should. Cause I'm just like, okay, well, I'm prepared. I have all the things, but I don't go out and have a well-rehearsed 5 minutes, that I could repeat over and over. Right. Like I think one of my friends is stand-up comic. He used to call it the solid 5. everybody's got to have their solid 5, otherwise you can't get on the stage, right? And it seems the same way with the speaking circuit, right?
Oh, 100%.
You got to have your 20 slides and your solid 15, and you're on the circuit. And I'm like, but AI changes every day.
100%. I joke too, because I got texted last night and he's like, hey man, like these people want you to come keynote in Australia, multiple events. And I was like, okay. And he's like, I need you to send your 5 topics. I was like, I can't. And he's like, why? I'm like, because the audience in the room in that moment dictates the topic. I have plenty of tools in my toolbox, but I always joke that like everyone's trying to get user generated content. I'm like, I do user generated keynotes. Like I go to the event, I ask questions. I'm like, what are you struggling with? Like, what would help you in your business? And then I'm the same as you, where I'm like, I can't rehearse these. I can't like perform like a TEDx. Right. I'm like, no, I just want to share. Like, let's consider everybody's around a campfire and we're having a conversation about what's working or not working. Not like, let me get your attention with a hook and this emotional story and then build my authority. And I'm like, no, like you either want to listen or you don't. It lands or it doesn't. Try it or not, but like, let's just pour in. So I'm the same as you. I see it the same.
There's a lot somewhere in the repetition of something that it's palpable, right?
Yep.
And I'm not everyone, right? I mean, I've seen some really good speakers who can get on stage, they got their thing, and they can make variations on the theme of their topic.
Yep.
Right. And the really good speakers can always do that. They know their stuff. Right. And yada, yada. I think with me, it's not even so much that I have to have like the audience dictate the topic. It's that I always talk about AI in some form or another. Before that, it was digital marketing, which basically just changed every week anyway. Can't give you what I'm going to talk about 6 months in advance, because 6 months from now, it's going to be different.
100%, 100%. That's why I always teach principles and values too, right? Like, cause I've been doing this since, I don't know, 2009, 2010. And it's like every moment we're like, what, are you going to go give a keynote on MySpace? Well, great. Now there's Facebook. Oh, you got Facebook. Right. Well, now there's Instagram. Now there's Instagram. Now there's TikTok, right? There's all these different pieces that flow all the time. And I think, you know, to your point about repetition, like when you know your stuff, when you know your principles, when you know your values, when you know like what you're doing, that the goal is to apply them to whatever the current state of the market is, right? Like just like with AI that we're seeing left, right, and center, right? Like the world we're sitting in today recording this 6 months ago, everyone's like, oh, that's a couple years off. And I'm like, no, it's here now, right? Yeah. And it evolves so fast and changes so fast. But I find Jeff Bezos said this in a talk the other day. He's like, most companies are making this giant mistake by trying to constantly evolve and keep up with the times instead of focusing on the things that will never change. And he was like, my customers are always going to want fast delivery. They're always going to want a wide selection. They're always going to want fast customer service. And he's like, so I can try to build a business around keeping up with the times, or I can build a business on the things that are guaranteed not to change in the next decade. Cause he's like, I can't imagine in 10 years, me calling a customer and be like, you know what, Jeff, I wish you would deliver my package slower. Right. And I think it's just the frame in which you look at business. And so I think it's a really good way to see it.
Amazon just passed 1 million autonomous factory robots.
Wow.
So the factories, warehouse, supply chain, 1 million robots now. And people are like, man, I wonder when robots are going to be here.
Like they're here.
I'll tell you a funny story. This is a quick one. I live in the middle of nowhere. There's no stores where I live. Okay. So we got to drive like 45 minutes to get to a big box store if I want to buy a pair of shoes for my kid, because they're the only place that sells kids' shoes. Right. So we have to go to a Walmart because it's the only one. Right. Either that or I got to drive 2 hours each way to go to Halifax. Yep. So anyways, unfortunately, I got to go to Walmart. Right. So anyways, I go in there and there's this kind of like one of those floor cleaning machines, right? Like the big square ones, right? Where the guy pushes the thing and it scrubs the floor or whatever. And it's driving along and my daughter goes out in front of it. And I'm like, I grabbed her, right? Because I don't want to get run over by the guy with the floor cleaning machine. And the thing stops. And she's like, look, Daddy, it's a robot. And I looked and there's nobody pushing it. It is a robot, right? It's even got a little smiley face painted on the front of it, you know, with the cameras are the eyes and stuff. And we're talking about southwestern Nova Scotia in a town that has a population of 9,000 has a robot cleaning the floor.
Yeah.
Right. So robots are everywhere now.
Oh, for sure.
And, you know, you had said, right, like, you know, everything changes every 6 months kind of thing. The current like generation rate, kind of like Moore's law, right? Every 18 months, computing power doubles. Every 7 months, AI power doubles.
Mm.
So if you want to tell somebody, if somebody's like, well, it's going to be 2 generations of AI before they could do, this thing that I'm going to do, or it's 3 generations away. I'm like, that's the end of next year.
Yep.
That's not some way far off distant thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's also something that people really kind of can't wrap their brains around, right? We have linear brains dealing with exponential technologies.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And I see it interestingly enough in business too, because like I'm the customer journey guy. I'm the guy who teaches like relationships. Everyone's like, George, no one's going to need this. I'm like, no. There's a big line of demarcation happening. Like the
Right.
more that AI, my stance, I would submit, and I'm seeing this across the board, even in businesses that I'm scaling and coaching, is the increase in AI is having an equilateral increase in the desire for human connection, right? Because it's starting to allow all these things to get handled and take place that were preventing our time, but then it's creating this giant void for people where it's like, well, yeah, but I'm a cultural creature, right? Like I'm a tribal creature. I miss people. And I was
Right.
like, that's the one thing that I look at in business, like especially entrepreneurship. So people are like, oh, I'm not going to have a business or marketing XYZ. I was like, no. There's still people on the other side of all of these things. Like AI might come in and speed up the process or personalize conversations. But if you ask me, and maybe this is just me, if I have a choice between speaking to a human or having some AI robot to talk to me, I'm going to choose a human, right? I'm not going to get coached. And yeah, do I use ChatGPT sometimes to like be my psychologist? 100%. Does it replace the need for me to like talk to my brother, be like, hey, Matt, do you have a couple minutes? Like, I really got to get some stuff off my chest. And you're like, of course, right? It'll never replace that. And so I think it's really interesting watching. I can't even think of a movie, but it would be like Star Wars. Like this human connection is going to end up as like the rebellion against AI. But I think if, your business involves people and it's not something that can be fully automated, then it's something to focus on and double down on people, which is, I think, the way that we win the game.
Yeah, I think you have to double down on people. The other thing I think is that people do want to talk to an AI for specific tasks.
For
right?
speed, yeah, 100%.
Right. Like if I want to go and find my order and figure out why it hasn't arrived yet, I don't want to talk to a person.
100%.
Just tell me where the thing is. I don't give shit, right? Just where is it? And when am I going to get it? Like if I want to go to the airplane, I'm trying to like book a flight or something, right?
Yep.
I don't want to talk to a person either. Just
Yep.
let me talk to the thing that knows all the air flights in the entire world. It knows when everyone's going. It knows what's delayed. It knows how many points I got. It knows my account. Let me talk to that, right?
100%. Yeah. And I
like we were talking about real estate agents, right?
Yeah.
If I'm buying a house, you know what the AI is not very good at is looking out the kitchen window and saying, is this a view that I would like?
Yes, exactly. Right. Or like knowing what the neighborhood is like, or like helping you overcome the fears of like buying your first home. Right. Like, cause I think, and I think there's a case to be made too. Like I joke with everybody. I was like, if you've ever seen that movie Wall-E, I think there is a part of the population that wants to only talk to AI. I'm not that person. Right. But I think,
well, and I don't know if it's so much they only want to talk to it or if it's they don't have any other good options.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point too. Yeah, I take that all day because I think when I look at a lot of this, like even in like let's take marketing right now, because I'm seeing it across the board. I'm watching so many people get turned off because they're getting over AI'd and they're like, no, I'm just interested in like your course or like, can you help me scale my business? And there's like these barriers of entry to get to the person, like these gatekeepers, and it's having the opposite effect that they desire. By trying to buy their time back, they're actually pushing people away from them. And I think that that's something that, to your point, like, yeah, flights, like, please, like, I don't want to call. Like, I only call airlines because I have status, so I get through instantly, but I don't want to sit on the phone for 90 minutes. I'm like, hey, can you rebook my flight? Like, I missed it.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever called the airline unless I like went to the desk and they were like, you have to call.
You have to call. Yeah,
that's the only time I've ever called them, right? Like my wife and I joke all the time. They're like, oh, okay, well, if you're gonna go and get an appointment with your family doctor or something like that, you have to call them. We're like, well, I guess we're gonna die, right? That's how much I don't want to call them. right?
100%, 100%. Yeah. But then it's like, I've been to restaurants, even like in Toronto, like sushi restaurants are like, no, you order right there. And I was like, I can't find the thing. Like, can you just please bring me
Right.
like a Coke Zero or an iced tea? And I was like, I have a question about this thing. And they're like, it's in there. I'm like, no, can you come here? Like, what's in this?
Right.
Can I? And there's certain things where I'm like, no, this doesn't work for me.
Yeah, there's spots where it's overdone, and there's also spots where it's kind of underdone,
Yeah.
right? And
Yep.
and I think finding that balance is pretty important right now. But I think the other thing is trying to drill down, and I mean this specifically with AI, but also it would count for automation or any other kind of digital assets, right? You got to drill down to what is the thing the person is absolutely the end goal, right?
Yep.
What is it? And like we have a tool that we built, it's called SMB Autopilot, right? If somebody has a physical location or a service area for their business, like a tradesperson, home services, that kind of thing, clinics and stuff, this will automatically market them locally.
Mm,
Automatically. They don't have to do anything. And the reason that we built it that way is because I had to go through this long process from the, hundreds of tradespeople I've met with over the years and stuff and business owners. And what they really, really want is not, can I get more leads? It's not, can I improve my sales funnel or any of these things? That's not what they want. What they want is, how can I spend more time with my kids?
mm-hmm.
Right. So my tool does the job. You don't have to check in on it. You don't have to copy and paste info into it. You don't have to use it like a CRM. You don't have to do anything. Put your credit card in, tell it who your business is, and it markets it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. If it doesn't work, stop paying.
Well, I love the distinction. I think the most important thing that you called out is like the distinction of like really understanding what the end goal or the desire is of the receiving party, right? And I
Right.
think that's something that I feel like isn't thought about, or it's negated a lot with the rise of like all these tools popping. Oh, this does this, but people aren't thinking about the downstream consequences if they're not thinking about what that ultimate outcome or desire is. And I think that that's always going to be there. And so I love that call out for sure. Cause I was like, even thinking about when you're doing it, it's like, oh, I'm building a home. I don't personally want a
Right.
robot to come out and ask me for a proposal when I'm like, I have questions about like the grading or what tile can I use? Like what in your experience has been there, right? Like that human element. And I think thinking about that end goal is probably the most neglected but biggest opportunity for people as well.
The other thing with AI that I think that people are kind of missing right now is I think magic is what people are missing. And the reason I say magic is that idea that a technology that is sufficiently advanced is indistinguishable from magic. I think
Mm-hmm.
everybody's heard that quote in the past, right? If magic was real, what would it do for the person who wants whatever it is that you're doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like if I'm a plumber and somebody's got a problem with their plumbing, what's the magic solution?
Mm-hmm.
Magic solution is they, I mean, within reason, obviously, like you got to be able to tell them there's a problem with your plumbing. But what they want is I take a video of whatever the thing is and I send it to the plumber, and the plumber can like send me back things to try, because maybe they're going to be in an hour. And if you don't fix it in the next 30 minutes, they show up and it's fixed.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's the magic. I've never seen anything like that ever. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're in the plumbing business, build that now, people.
Oh, for sure. I think
Right.
about like simple things like physical therapists, right? Where you go and they show you these exercises and then you leave and you never do the exercises because you forgot how to do them all.
Right.
Right. And I'm like, no, just like click the button on like what my personalized ones are and let me open my camera and do it in front of it and have it correct me based on your knowledge and things like that. Like
Right.
I love that. I think it's great because to your point, it gets us to that ultimate end goal or what that desire is, which is like, I don't want to be in pain anymore, or I don't want a clogged toilet because I have 4 kids running around my house. And truthfully, I have other things to do right now. So like, help me without digging into my toilet, figure out what's going on. I love that perspective. And yeah, what was that quote again about the magic?
Well, it's any technology or any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. I think it was Arthur C. Clarke, if I'm not mistaken.
I like that quote.
Yeah. And it's absolutely true. You know what's magic in my business right now? And this is such a simple thing, but to me, it's magic. I have a client that we write blogs for. I got to write blogs about furniture. Oh, exciting. But anyways, I still come up with enough ideas. I'm not using the AI to come up with the ideas, and I'm not using it to write the blog. I am using it to translate it into other languages.
Yeah.
And then I also have an automation that automatically checks every 4 hours to see if a new blog's been posted. And if it has, it summarizes it, puts a link in, takes the photo from it, puts it in the right size, and puts it on X and puts it on Blue Sky.
Mm.
So all I got to do is write the blog, use Chat GPT or whatever, right? I usually use Sonnet, actually, translate it, put in the translation, and then I save it and it's published. And then all the social media, it goes out automatically.
Yeah.
Right? That's magic. That saves me, I don't even know how much time, 10 hours a month, probably.
Yep.
That's just one client. You know?
Yeah. What I had a buddy on my podcast yesterday, Alex Mayer, who I'm sure a lot of people know who he is. He was the guy who bought Pier 1 Imports and Radio Shack and this big merger deal. Yeah. So he was talking about how entrepreneurship is so drastically different than it was 20 years ago, right? Or even 10 years ago, where 10 years ago, what we were rewarded for as entrepreneurs is who could execute an idea better, right? Who could stay in that game and like see it through fruition. Now it's who can come up with more good ideas and test them faster, because AI has basically removed these things. Like we were joking, like back in 2010, when I like built my first sales funnel, it took us 90 days to code those websites and design them and do it. And now in 2 minutes, I can talk to an AI and spit out an entire thing that's done. And so it's changing this culture of entrepreneurship. And what I find ironic, and this hit my heart to say, is that the thing that I'm seeing is, and I don't know how to label it other than like this epidemic of like loneliness now, because AI is coming into so much entrepreneurship and it is creating that magic. People don't know what to do with that time that they're getting back. Right. And it's causing some issues. I was like, no, that's the whole premise of entrepreneurship, is like being creative and bringing ideas to life. But, I've joked for years with all the high performers I coach, right? All the way up to billionaires that I coach. And every entrepreneur tells me the same thing, like what their end goal are. I want more time, more money, more freedom. And I'm like, amazing. Right. And I was like, give me your phone for a week. And they're like, no. And I'm like, well, I guess you don't want more time, right? Like we want these things that we don't know how to have a relationship with. And it's this interesting downstream effect that I'm seeing, because like to your point, like that same blog a couple of years ago might have been like 4 hours of work. It might have been a full afternoon calendar. And now it's done in, 20 minutes. And everyone's like, well, what do I do now? And it's kind of this like giant mirror of me. And I coach a lot of people on this, where we've hidden in our business, like you living up where you live and having your family. You're like, no, I'm going out with my daughter, right? Like I'm ready to go. And same thing for me. Like I'm going out with my son, like, hey, I'm good, done for the day. But then people that get their identity from their business, or their identity in like how hard they hustle or how many things they get done, all of those things are getting like challenged to the core right now.
Like I'm old school hustler, right? Like I'm still working 12-hour days a lot, but it's not an endless stream of 12-hour days, for the rest of my life. It's I'm automating all these pieces and getting all the work done and getting all the kind of pieces on the board, so that the end goal, the checkmate, is my businesses can run themselves and I don't need to be there all the time. Right.
100%.
That's what I get the payoff. I get the reward. Right. But I can still leave whenever I want, do whatever I want. There's shit that I got to get done too.
Oh, so, for sure.
And you know what? And this is kind of an aside, but your friend that runs the Radio Shack, I feel like Radio Shack is the perfect brand right now that is totally underutilized. They should have a Radio Shack on every corner that sells drones and robots.
Yeah.
Every single one. That's all it should be. Like all their advertising can be like Radio Shack or Robot Shack, like that kind of thing. And they can make $1 zillion. I get ads for this one place just called Robot Store all the time. And I'm like, as soon as the money's available, I'm dropping it on a robot. Like, there's no way.
There's things I want robots for. I want a robot to do my dishes. Like, I want to put it next to the sink and it end up back in the cabinet clean. Like, I'm good if I never have to do laundry again for the rest of my life, right? Like, give me those things. Like, I want those things all day.
Yeah.
But
well, they're interviewing the lead scientist from Physical Intelligence on the Dwarkesh podcast this week. And he's like, yeah, we think household robots is like end of 2027. Like a household robot that you tell it what you want done, and then it just walks around your house doing stuff. You don't have to talk to it. You know, it does its thing. Does all your dishes, does your laundry, folds it, puts it away, puts the toys away, washes the windows, vacuums the floor, whatever you need. Right.
Yeah, there's a part of me, just because I love this conversation. There's a part of me that is afraid for part of humanity for when that comes. Because like, I think I look back at like, you know, I used to study Stoicism and I used to read, you know, all these things and incredible entrepreneur books like Chop Wood, Carry Water, right? Like there's these biological processes that we as human beings have, like movement, right? Or doing something hard or manual labor. Like my favorite thing living in Montana is like when I get off work, like I'm going out to build something or break something or dig a hole. Or like 2 nights ago, it was till 10 p.m. we were mixing concrete and pouring a pad in front of the chicken coop, right? Like there's something like so rewarding about that. That's like so healing for us.
It is.
But I look at like all these things that, you know, we've done for centuries that literally, like I joke scientifically, we're the only mammal that doesn't have a built-in mechanism to release our lymphatic system, right? Like if an antelope's about to get eaten by a lion and it survives, the first thing it does is shake its body. And then it just goes back to eating grass. Well, for us as humans, movement has always been that thing, right? And all these things are basically creating this option for laziness that I think is going to have this massive downstream effect on mental health. Because I even look at, you know, me.
Yeah, but arguably that's already happened.
For sure. No, it's been happening, but I feel like with what's happening with AI, it's almost like NOS in the engine, right? It is just this like fast forward button, like into the wall as hard as possible. And it scares me a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, when we got to the point where people really love TikTok and I was like, what is it about this that they love? And people saw it's the algorithm or it's the video. You know what it is? It selects for you, right? You don't have to think up something to go look for to watch.
Nope.
Right? It just does it for you.
It's unlimited 6-second distractions and dopamine.
Which I think is a terrible thing, right?
100%.
Like, I mean, it's a genius, but I think you should watch what you want to watch that interests you.
Well,
but also,
I missed the days when we had to go up and change the channel, bro.
Right. Well, how many things did you watch because you're like, well, this is nothing else is on. So you watch the one thing and you go, you know what? I actually kind of like this. This is something that interests me. You don't do that now. It just feeds you more of the same shit over and over, right?
100%.
So let me ask you this question, though, and this is probably the most important question that I will ask today, is how many chickens do you have?
We have 31 chickens.
31? Well, wait till you get up in the 50s.
More, but a couple weeks ago, a fox got in.
Oh, I had a fox eat my bantams.
Yeah. And then, God, what was it last year? Because we let them graze in the yard, right? And we're like, oh, we'll let them graze. And my best friend who I live with, we have the chickens together. He's like, hey, we got to get rid of a few of these. One of the roosters is being an a-hole.
Right.
And I was like, cool. He's like, I'm just going to let them out in the yard and an eagle will grab one of them. Right. Like just kind of let Mother Nature take its course. Well, we let them out for like 7 days, nothing. They're all there. They're fine. And then he lets them out one morning, goes inside, comes out. Half of them are gone. It was like they watched for a week and this like horde of eagles came in and just like slaughtered all the chickens. And then the problem was all the other ones were so traumatized. None of them laid eggs for like 6 months. And so we had to like rebuild the entire flock.
You gotta make friends with the crows because the crows will fight off the eagles.
You do. Yeah. I love living in Montana. It's a very humbling. It reminds me.
It's probably similar to here, right? Different wildlife, but the thing, like we have eagles and hawks and mink and and weasels and ferrets and foxes and coyotes and like everything wants to eat chickens because they taste like chicken. So, you know, this is definitely the most important part of the show, folks. Remember, if you're going to free range your chickens, you got to be out there. Or you're going to have like some kind of fence or a dog or something to fight off the other critters. George, I think this is a great conversation. I think we've kind of, you know, maybe stumbled around a bit on topics, but I think we're hitting the nail on the head that the biggest thing that people are missing about kind of moving into AI is automating the human parts instead of the parts nobody cares about. right?
Mhm.
On, the back end stuff, and and don't use the AI to replace the you that needs to
Mhm.
be in your business, right?
Mhm. 100%. You said it so well. My secret sauce is I spend all my time helping entrepreneurs scale, primarily from 6 to 7 or beyond figures. And what I've seen across the board is this falling in love with these automations, but then 6 months later, they're like, my business has stagnated. And I
Right.
was like, yes, because you removed the secret ingredient, which was you. Like one client in my brain in particular right now was doing, $250,000, $300,000 a month. And then all of a sudden it dipped down to like 100 grand a month. And they're like, what happened? What happened? And I was like, well, let me look. And what had basically happened is they stopped going live once a week when they were going
Right.
live, and they started automating pieces of content. And then every one of their clients always came from like a 15-minute coffee chat. And they're like, oh, I don't have time to do it anymore. Let's
Right.
just remove that and send them a microwave video to get them warmed up. And by the time we caught it, there was like $500,000 of implication. I was like, no, like you removed the one thing that AI can't do, which is you. It's like your authenticity, your essence, people experiencing you. And then within a week, we added it back and sales started going right back up. And I was like, no,
Right.
the whole point of AI and even marketing automation 10 years ago is to automate the parts that don't require a human to allow you to have more time and capacity to be a human, right? Like, I run live events, right? I can't
Right.
ever imagine somebody coming to a live event and then they walk out to a holograph of me. I'm like, why would they have come?
Right.
Right? Like there's the part where, you have to allow yourself to your point, automate those things that don't require a human so that you have more time to be in those relationships. And in business, like I don't care what business you're in. You can be in a service-based business, you can be in a product-based business, but businesses are done people to people, right? Like there are certain things that are done people to people, and that's why
Yeah.
people choose businesses, right? Like I joke with people all the time. I'm like, how many of you can think of a restaurant that doesn't have the best food, but you keep going back to it and recommending people to it? And they're like, oh, I can. And I'm like, how many of you can think of a restaurant where you had an incredible meal, but the service sucked and you don't tell anybody about it? And they're like, I can. I'm like, what's the secret sauce?
Right.
And truthfully, it's the culture, it's the relationship with the people. And I think that that's going to be one of the biggest, and it's something I'm seeing right now. There's so many people that are making short-term money by automating all of these things, but what they're not thinking about is like the long-term downstream effects of these things.
Right.
Because once those people go somewhere else, or, I always joke, I'm like, if you don't love your customers, I'll come love them for you. Once those people get that human to human experience, they're going to switch very, very quickly because there is something that we cannot replace or replicate, at least for certain people that just desire human connection. And so I think no matter what we see in AI, I love the way that you framed it is like, we have to understand what the end goal or end desire is for the people that we're serving. And then I would submit it's using AI and automations to automate the things or replace the things that you don't need to be doing that they can benefit from, but then allow yourself to insert yourself in that relationship. And I joke, especially for married people, like you and I are both men, we're both married. I was like, the way that most people are using AI right now is they spend their entire time courting their wife. They say, I do, and then they automate every date, text message, and email and expect to not be sleeping on the couch. That's not the way to do it. The way to do it is like, hey, yeah, maybe you pre-schedule flowers and reminders for you to send them and pre-schedule important dates and text messages and send later.
You AI the administrative side.
Yeah,
right?
100%.
You AI the productive side, but not the creative side and not the human side.
Yeah. And even one of the things anecdotally that I'm seeing is, right, like I've been using email marketing my whole career. Like I love email, it still works. But with how much noise is created now because of how frequently and personalized AI and automations are, people are reading them less and less, and they're texting me when I email them, or they're shooting me a DM on Instagram where they used to reply or read it. They're like, hey, I saw your email. What was it? And it's like this desire inside of them of like, they almost have this confirmation bias now of like, I know this was automated or I know this is in here, but I'm craving the human to human connection. So it's just something to notice for people.
Yeah. Or they assume automation first, right?
Yes.
It's getting there, especially in the B2B world.
That's the default.
And George, I hate to have to cut it short, but I know that we both got other business we got to get to. If somebody wants to reach out to you to learn a little more, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
Yeah, man, I love this question. I know you're on LinkedIn. I would connect with you on LinkedIn, except I'm banned for life. If you want to know the story, just reach out and ask me. Yeah, I'm banned for life, but the best place is my website. It's the pinkest website you'll ever see. It's my favorite color, mindofgeorge.com. My podcast is there, my Instagram is there. But if I can help you in any way, if I could answer a question, help you scale your business, teach you about customer journey or anything, just shoot me a DM on Instagram or through the contact form on my website. We'll get a cup of coffee. I'll pour into you however I can, but mindofgeorge.com is the best place.
All right, George, I appreciate you coming on the show, and I hope that rebuilding the chicken flock goes well.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate you having me, man. So thank you. And thank you for everybody listening.
I'm feeling lost. What's coming next? The world is changing. It's so complex. Will AI take my job? Will I be replaced? I'm just a cog in this corporate race.
Don't you worry, lots going on. And AI even wrote and sang this song. Embrace the change, don't run away. Knowledge is power, you need to seize the day. Just read the book, buy that book, get the big book already. Will AI take my job too?
But what if I fail? What if I fall? The risks are high, I'm scared of it all.
With every page, you'll find your way. Don't let fear keep you at bay. Just read the book, buy that book, get the book already. Will AI take my job too? Maybe you're right. I'll take that chance to understand AI, to join the dance.
That's the spirit. Let's dive right in. The future awaits. Let the journey begin.
He's going to buy the book. Will AI take my job too? A book by Matt Rose. Discover the future.